What would you say is the best investing advice you've ever heard?
I don't know. I think like the most important investing quality of people that I've seen that have built wealth is like their ability to delay gratification. It's just their ability to project into the future and see that there's an older version of themselves that is grateful for their younger self saving and investing money and delaying buying the things that you think will make you happy. And on that note, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but like for me, when I want something and I'm like, I really don't want to buy it, but I really want it. And when I buy it, I feel this like sense of relief. But I figured out that the relief comes from not in owning that thing, but in the peacefulness that comes with not wanting it anymore. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I'm so glad like I have it now. I don't want it. And now it's not bugging me as much. And so if you're able to extrapolate that into the future, you could be like, okay, I could buy this thing, but maybe I can just skip the buying part and then go directly to the not wanting it.
A lot of the pleasure is in being able to buy something.
Exactly.
And also, I heard some wisdom, which was not wanting something is just as good as having it.
Right. That's
and
true.
So you could take someone that like, really, really, really doesn't want a really fancy car for some reason, and they're living just as good as someone that like bought that fancy car just because it doesn't matter to them. Like they have other priorities, other things that make them happier, such as an aquarium, or other things that are just more significant to them. But if you don't want something, it's just as good as having it.
I remember reading a piece of advice like on the old fire forums that was like, oh, use this one trick. It was like, I could buy that. I was like, oh, what is this? And I clicked on it. And it was like, if the next time you want to buy something, save up enough money to buy it and then see how you feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, just the ability, like you said, to buy that thing is as good as owning it. So like, it's my, I could buy that trick.
So the key is you could either save and make enough money to be able to buy the things that you want, or you could just want fewer things.
Exactly. Yeah. You go directly to that part if you can.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like, I think this is the dividend brain of me, which is like most people, I think when they compare, if they want to buy something, they're like, well, how many hours of my work does it cost? Like if something's $100 and they get paid $20 an hour, like, okay, it cost me 5 hours of my life to buy that thing. And that's how most people think about purchasing things. But what dividend investing has really taught me is to instead think about things in terms of 4%. So it's like, how much money do I have to have for that thing to passively exist in my life? And that's what we talk about all the time.
That's how
I just love that.
Is.
I love that, the 4% rule. So like, how much money do I need to invest? If you don't have that much money invested in the market, then you have no excuse to own that thing. Like you can't afford it. That's how I've always looked at affording.
So is
anything.
that 4% per year or 4% of the amount?
Well, if it depends. If it's like a recurring cost, like for example, if it's like a Netflix subscription, what's Netflix right now per
$12.99 we'll call it.
Let's say $13, right? Times 12, that's $156 a year. Right?
Times 25.
Or divided by 0.04. That's $3,900. If you don't have $3,900 invested in the market at 4%,
you cannot afford
you
Netflix.
cannot afford that $13 a month. Like that's just how you think about it. I've always thought about it that way. I think that's the coolest way to think about it. And so that's what motivated me to build a dividend portfolio. Because then I could be like, okay, now I know how much money I'm passively making, and now I can delegate what things I can and can't afford.
It's so addicting once you start doing that, though, because I remember in a separate vein, it wasn't dividends, but for me, it was YouTube income, because I viewed that as all passive because I would have done it anyway. And I remember making $1 a day and thinking, oh, wow, that pays for an all-you-could-eat sushi every single month for free. And then it started to become, wow, I got a free phone bill every single month at $50 a month. And then my car insurance is $100. Oh, wow, my car insurance is now free. And everything starts to like stack. And then pretty soon it's like, wow, my mortgage is now free.
Right.
This is free. This is free. Now I just live for free because I would be doing this anyway and I'm making money.
Yeah, that's so cool. And then you eventually realize that the quickest way to being financially free isn't necessarily by building a bigger portfolio. It's literally by removing those recurring costs, because that's way easier to do than needing that money invested at 4%. She's like, hey, if I could remove this car payment or this, like I just saved $100,000 from like retirement. That's the coolest way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Do you think that the money printing in the United States is a strategy? This is a conspiracy theory right here, to keep people poor.
That's a really good question. I don't
Because
think I'm that level of conspiracy to where I think that is an intentional thing that we're doing. I don't think people are that organized to be like, this is what keeps people poor. Let's keep doing it. I don't think that's the case. What do you think? You think it's intentional?
I tend to not buy into conspiracies, but also if you think about it, any money printing drives up assets. Assets are owned by wealthy people, not poor people. Poor people suffer with inflation. It's just what's happening. And they're printing money to try to help the poor people, but it's like clearly not. So I don't understand.
I don't think money printing has anything to do with poor people. Why would they want them to be? They would benefit more from people having more money because they spend more. Like if you gave $100,000 to an average person, I almost guarantee
to be gone.
Average person, it'll be gone almost instantly.
Right.
They're not going to save it. So it's better for people to make more money. Like there's no incentive for the government to keep people poor.
Technically speaking, poor people are going to be easier to control with the government.
What I think is more systemically realistic is that the school system teaches people just to work and follow in line, listen to another person, do as instructed. You take your lunch here, you start here, you end here. You do this whole thing so you could work for someone else. It's just a very outdated system. That I think is probably more likely that they keep people in like a working hamster wheel. And then they shove it down throats of like, oh, it's good to go to college. And then now you borrow money. Now you're in debt. And then it's, oh, but you have to buy a house because that's the American dream. Now you buy a house. Now you have a $50,000 student loan and a $300,000 mortgage. You're not going anywhere. And now you have to take that job to keep making those payments because you don't want to lose your house and you can't default on your student loans, even with bankruptcy. So now you're kind of stuck. But then you're 35 and you think, oh, crap, I'm getting to an age where I should probably have a kid. So now you have a kid. Now you definitely can't take the risk to start your own business or do anything. So now you're stuck working that job you don't like to pay for the house, to pay for the student loans. And now you have a kid to support. And now you're just kind of, and so you keep working until you're 70 and then you die.
Right. So you're saying it's kind of a result of our own decisions and kind of as a byproduct of a shared delusion that we all have about what it's like to live a
I heard that a lot of the school system was created by a factory owner, and this could totally be untrue, and I'm just rephrasing what someone else told me, was dictated by a factory owner who wanted more workers, and so they set up a whole system to basically keep people in this loop of like learning how to work for somebody else. And that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense, yeah.
So I don't know if that's true or not.
I think that's separate from the money printer question, but
the money printing, I think, is purely a result of the government getting out of control in their spending, and this is the only way they could get out of it. Is just like, what do they do?
Here's how I see the whole money printing thing. The money printer allows governments to do whatever the hell they want, whenever they want. Because if we operated on a fixed supply kind of a system, how long do you think people would put up with fighting wars or whatever the government wants? Because like if you were to fund a war, let's say, you actually have to tax people. You actually need the money and the revenue from people. But if you couldn't print money, if you could print money, then you can do whatever you want. And so I think that's a byproduct of power being exercised beyond what's in our best interest. And that's what Bitcoin is trying to fix. Like that's why people are obsessed with Bitcoin, is because it's a fixed supply and therefore governments have to be responsible. Therefore, they can't just do whatever they want.
So then what would you say is the main thing that is keeping people poor then?
Just a lack of financial education and literacy, mostly, and lifestyle decisions. I don't know, for whatever reason, these questions make me think of George Carlin. Do you guys know who that is? The comedian. He's like, oh yeah, the rich exist to like kind of inspire the middle class, and then the poor exist there to scare the shit out of them.
What do you mean?
Well, because it's like keep being in the hamster wheel. Like if you don't want to be like these people, you got to keep working. You got to keep doing it.
And the keep working is look at this guy who just bought a Ferrari.
Right. You want to be like that guy, but you definitely don't want to be like that guy.
It keeps you stuck in the middle.
Right.
I heard somewhere that the worst thing you could do to someone is pay them $80,000 a year because it's just at the right point where they're making enough where they don't want to risk it, but it's not so little that they're forced to take big action and make significant moves to do something that would drive their income so much higher and give them so much more opportunity. It's like that safety middle where it's just enough to keep you going and especially if you get promised like a raise to 90K to then 100,
Right.
and you see the trajectory going up, you're going to want to stick on that and not do your own thing.
The slowly boiling crab, right? I don't know. I just feel like in order to be, like, if you think about it mathematically, in order to be the one, like, if you think rich is to have a lot of money, if that's your definition of rich, then you got to do like what the 99% don't want to do, like to become the 1%, which is literally the opposite of what everyone else does, like not going out to eat in restaurants and saving money and not owning a car and bicycling to work. It's like that's what it takes to just have enough escape velocity to get out of that. And I think that's what I focus so much on in my early 20s because my parents were immigrants and they didn't understand money. And I was like, okay, let me not do that.
Life insurance is one of those things that makes sense for a lot of people out there, but most people just put it off because it feels complicated, expensive, or time-consuming, but it doesn't have to be thanks to our sponsor, Fabric.
Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance that you can get done today. It's made for busy parents like you. It's all online. It's on your schedule right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required.
If you have kids, and especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in a low rate is now. And even if you have life insurance through your employer, it may not offer you enough protection for your family, and it usually does not follow you if you leave your job. Fabric offers flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget, including options like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day.
Fabric is partnered with Gerber Life, trusted by millions of families for over 50 years. There's no risk, and they even have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can cancel at any time. Fabric also has free digital wills, tools to invest in your kid's future, and more, all right from your phone.
Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/ICHclips.
Again, that's meetfabric.com/ICHclips. MEET fabric.com/ICHclips. The link is also down below in the description. Enjoy.